What is up, guys? Welcome back to That's Right, I Said It. I want to start off by saying I took another 3.3 grams yesterday. I've been on that for roughly about a week now, so I think it's time to go ahead and chop it down again. This evening, I obviously haven't taken any Kratom today so far. This evening, I plan on taking only 4 capsules, which is a little bit over 2.5 grams. So basically, as of today, I will be down to 2.5 grams of Kratom per day, which is barely any, especially for the standards of someone who was highly addicted to MIT 45 extracts 2 or 3 months ago. So happy with my improvement there. Everything's going better as far as my daytimes. My energy seems to be a lot better. Following this, I'm going to share a couple of things that I've been doing to kind of help with the energy. And I talked a few days ago about the anhedonia, just kind of the low mood, low motivation, stuff like that. And I have a couple of natural things that you can do to supplement your daily regimen that can actually help with that. I spoke yesterday about L-tyrosine, and I'd only taken about a 500 milligram dosage of the L-tyrosine in the morning, and then I took another 500 milligram dosage at noon, and I didn't really feel a lot of difference yesterday. But one of my subscribers, Ronnie, mentioned, hey, go ahead and take a gram of it. That's kind of what he does, is takes a gram at a time. So I tried that this morning, took a whole gram and then drank my coffee. And I will say I did notice, I definitely noticed an improvement in energy. First thing in the morning, I felt like, my mood was increased a little bit. You could just tell that there was little bit of a dopamine rush with that. And for those of you who don't know, L-tyrosine is something that naturally your body naturally manufactures it anyway. So it's something that already exists inside you. It's an amino acid that plays a part in making very important neurotransmitters like epinephrine, norepinephrine, dopamine, those sort of things. And all of these are chemicals that help to increase mood, enhance mood, increase energy, all those good things. So I will say that although I won't be taking it every day, and I probably won't really take it on the weekends, maybe just 2, maybe 3 days during the week, definitely at least while coming off of and tapering off of something like Kratom, I think it's definitely a good idea to add something like L-tyrosine to your regimen to kind of help fight and combat that low mood that you might experience, and that anhedonia, coming off of something like Kratom. So that's a good thing. Another thing that I wanted to say, and this is something that I didn't learn until yesterday, and I just happened to be talking to one of the guys that I work with, and he's one of those, what do you call, like I don't want to say doomsday prepper, but he's definitely a prepper. He has like a, bug out room or building or something like that at his home, and he talks about it, and he's kind of in process of trying to pack equipment and supplies and stuff like that in this bug out room that he has in his home. And a lot of the things that he's acquiring are like natural remedies, just different things, supplements, natural supplements, spices, things like that he making salves and stuff like that you can put on your skin if you have pain. He's interested in anything that can treat any sort of ailment that is not doctor prescribed, and that is a natural remedy that you can either purchase or grow yourself in terms of the leaves. And he mentioned to me yesterday cayenne pepper, and I knew that pepper in general had some health benefits. I did know that, and I think I had heard at some point that cayenne pepper has several health benefits in terms of containing antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties and things like that. But who knew that cayenne pepper can actually give you a natural boost in energy? Well, yesterday while I was at work, when I was talking to this guy, he took me into his office, and he said, I'll give you some right now. He was telling me about it. So I took about a half a bottle of water. He put, it looked like maybe about a teaspoon. It looked like the little spoon that he had was maybe about a half teaspoon. And he put 2 heaping half teaspoons in this about half bottle of water. So I'd say it's probably about 8 ounces of water maybe. And I shook it up really, 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 really well. It's going to be a little spicy, a little hot. Try to keep it away from your lips, the outside of your lips, because it's spicy. So it is going to burn a little bit. But I shit you not, when I say that I drank down this cayenne pepper water mixture for the next 2, 3, 4 hours of the day, I literally had like this natural, like almost elevation, like, wow, man, I felt like going out and, jogging around the block. I mean, it really, really honestly did help. And it's one of those things where, I'm starting to learn as I get older that there are smarter and more responsible ways to get just a natural increase and a natural elevation in mood and things like that. And that's a good realization to have for somebody, who's struggled with all kinds of addiction issues to all kinds of different substances in my past, and my latest one being Kratom. But anyway, so try that. Get yourself some cayenne pepper, mix it with some water, shake it up, shoot it down. Again, try to keep the concoction on the inside of your mouth, because the first time I did it, I made the mistake of when I touched the bottle to my lips, it was on the outside up here. So I got a little bit of it on the outside of my lip. For about the next hour, hour and a half, I was like, the top of my lips burning a little bit there. But, that's a small little side effect. The benefits were definitely well worth it. The natural energy boost that you get from it was somewhat surprising, to be honest with you. It's my first time, taking a teaspoon of cayenne pepper like that. So hey, give it a shot. Anything's worth a shot, especially if you're coming off of something like Kratom and you need a little mood boost. Anything like that is natural is worth it. So give that a try. What else? And it just goes to show you that some people, Kratom means something different for everyone. Because when I was talking to him yesterday, he was talking about he wants anything that has to do with anything being natural, that can cure some sort of ailment. He wanted to know about it. And so I was telling him about kava. And I was telling him it was something that kind of, gives you a body relaxation, stuff like that. And, this is a 53-year-old guy. And this guy, I can assure you, has definitely never struggled with any addiction issues in his life. He's a good old country boy. He did mention that he used to chew tobacco back in the day, and he had to put that down. Outside of that, he's never been a big drinker. You can just tell this guy's never battled addiction, especially in the way I've battled addiction. So I was telling him about kava and this and that. So he was interested in getting some of that for his bug out room at his house. And I mentioned to him Kratom, and he's sitting there looking it up on his phone. And I told him, I gave him the old disclaimer. I was like, hey, be careful with the Kratom. The Kratom is one of those things that it can be addictive, and there are people out there that get addicted to it. I conveniently left out that I was one of those people that got addicted to it and went a little overboard with it. But that's par for the course for somebody like me, because I've been addicted to pain pills. I've been addicted to I can't really say I've ever been addicted to alcohol, because alcohol is always just something I did if I was in a situation with people that were all drinking, and I would drink with them. But it's never been my first choice of what I like in terms of a drug. And but I've been addicted to painkillers, Percocets, Vicodins. I've tried Oxycontins. I've taken Klonopins. I've taken Xanax. I've tried cocaine. I have snorted heroin. I only did that once, but I snorted heroin. I was addicted to Adderall. Vyvanse and Adderall, a little bit of Ritalin. I took Ritalin for a little while. And as an adult, definitely went through an addiction in my early 20s to weed, where I smoked a lot of weed. Let's see, what else? What else? Is there anything else? I think that about runs the gamut of everything that I've been addicted to. But let's just say that anything that is a psychotropic medication, anything that, you know, has an effect on your psyche or is a mood elevator, I'm all about it. Let's just put it that way. And any of those things have abuse potential for someone like me. So I made sure I gave him the disclaimer. Yeah, hey, you know, it's one of those things you definitely have to be responsible with. It does have its benefits. It's probably something you would want to include in your you know, bug out room for sure. It definitely has some benefits, some anti-inflammatory properties. You know, it's definitely a good mood elevator and stuff like that. But it's one of those things, if you get to where you're taking it every day, all the time, you will build up a tolerance for it. You will become addicted, and then you will go through literally physical and mental withdrawals when you try to stop taking it. And he understood. He was like, yeah, no, I'm not even planning on taking it. He wasn't even going to open the bags. He was just going to buy it, put it in his bug out closet, and be done with it. And, you know, we had the conversation yesterday afternoon. I get to work this morning, and this guy is the supervisor of our finishing department at work. Sitting at my desk first thing this morning, and I hear him behind me. He's like, yeah, so this is what I got. I turn around. The guy's got a whole kilo of Bali Kratom powder in his hand, and in one hand, and then in the other hand, it looked like maybe 100 capsules of Red Valley Kratom in his hand. He was like, so this is what I picked up yesterday. I was like, dude, were you walking through the production floor like that? You know, this guy's the supervisor of our production floor. He's over probably 30, 40 employees, and he's just, you know, just clueless, walking through the plant floor with 2 big ass bags of Kratom. And I was like, what in the world, dude? You know, to me, somebody who has the sort of background I have with Kratom, I was like, what is this dude? What is he doing? You know, this, you know, but to him, you know, he's never been addicted to anything like that. So he doesn't, to him, there's not a bad stigma surrounding Kratom, you know. And it was one of those teachable moments for me this morning. I was kind of like, you know what? This proves right here that Kratom does not mean the same thing to everybody. Also, with this same guy, we have a production meeting. He's part of my team, and we have a production meeting with all of our boss. It's my boss, and then myself, the guy I'm talking about, and then the other 2 supervisors, all have a meeting every morning in my boss's office to talk about, you know, production for the day, and, you know, things that are priorities and this and that and the other. And it was time for our meeting, and he was like, oh, we're late for the meeting. And he goes to walk. He's walking into the meeting with 2 bags of Kratom in his hand, so where our boss is. And I'm sitting there going, I'm like, John, you know, leave the Kratom in this filing cabinet here. Put it in this top drawer right here. And he's like, well, it's not illegal. You know, to him, no big deal. It's legal. It's not a problem. I don't have an issue with it, so here it is. You know, he didn't mind. I mean, this is a Christian company. This guy's walking through the hall with 2 big ass bags of Kratom in his hand. I was blown away that it didn't register with him, you know. But it also, and this is a smart guy. This guy's no idiot. You know, he's a 53-year-old man. He's a professional. Makes good money. You know, but it just goes to show you, depending on which circle you run in, you know, Kratom can mean 2 different things depending on who you are and depending on which circle you run in. And to me, I was kind of like, oh, you know, put that shit away, man. That's like, I mean, that stuff can be like crack. You know, that stuff's addictive, man. There's people out there that are really addicted. There's people going to rehab over this shit, and he's walking through the production floor at his place of employment with it, you know, walking through the halls just like it's nothing. He didn't even have it in a plastic bag. He, like, you could see the word Kratom on the bags. He's just sitting there holding them. I'm like, it blew my mind. And, you know, but it just goes to show you, it depends on who you are. You know, to me, it was kind of a taboo subject because I know what Kratom is. I know what Kratom does. I know what Kratom means for someone like me who has an addictive personality and an addictive nature. You know, I have to be careful with stuff like that. This guy, you know, it don't mean anything to him. You know, he's never taken, he's not really interested in taking it. You know, he's just trying to supply this, you know, bug out room that he has, and he wants to get everything natural that he can to include in there, just in case the shit hits the fan one day and he has to run off to the mountains and you know, hide in the mountains and protect his family and survive off the land. So that's why he was buying it. And I wanted to share that story with you guys. I found that pretty funny. Because this is not the type of, the company I work for is an overtly Christian company, and I've talked about this. This is not the type of company that you would think somebody would just be walking through the halls and through the production floor with 2 bags of Kratom in their hand. It just, he was absolutely 100% clueless. And we talked about it a little. You know, my boss is a cool guy. I mean, we talked about it a little bit in the in our production meeting this morning. It wasn't a big deal to anybody, but I made sure to let him know, like, you know, this might not mean anything to you, but, you know, some people are addicted to this stuff, you know, and some of the, couple of the other supervisors had heard about it. Like, yeah, I mean, I've heard that too, that it can be and this and that, but he, you know, he didn't have a clue. And so Kratom, it's all about your relationship with Kratom. You know, some people's relationship with Kratom is completely different than what your relationship with Kratom is. And that's something that I've really learned throughout this process. And just funny story, man. Funny story. I did want to ask him. It's funny though, because I did want to ask him to rip the bag open and give me a few capsules, because I'm not taking it right now during the day. But you know me, I love Kratom. I love the effects of it. So it was hard not to be like, hey dude, give me some, you know. He walks in and just I'm sitting there holding these 2 unopened bags of, like, I'm sitting there drooling, going, look at all this Kratom, you know. And here I am for the last 2 months in a tapering process. But you know, I made sure I spared him some of the details about what I'm currently going through. I did tell him that, you know, it can be addictive. I said, I know that for sure, because I got to where I was taking too much of it when I stopped taking it, and I was like, oh, I feel like shit. That's basically what I told him. That's all I told him. You know, I didn't tell him it had been kind of a on and off struggle, like I'd come off of it and then I started taking it again, then I come off and started. I spared him all those details just because this is my workplace. I wanted to keep all that information, you know, somewhat separate. I'm only going to let the people I work with, I'm only going to let them in so much on my private life. But I'm doing what I have to do to correct my issue with Kratom. And, you know, it is what it is. But hey, it was a funny time this morning, and I figured I'd share that story with you guys. So anyway, that's what I have. Might do a video this weekend. Like I said, today I'll be taking about a little over 2.5 grams. So I'm down to under 3 grams of Kratom as of today. I'm going to take 4 capsules this evening. Hopefully my sleep is good. Hopefully nothing affects my sleep. And sometime next week, if I can keep it at that 4 gram mark, I'm sorry, not 4 gram, the 4 capsules and the 2.5 gram mark, sometime next week, I'm probably going to chop it down to maybe 2 capsules from there. I'll just half it, and I'll take 2 capsules at night, maybe do that for a couple of days. By the end of next week, I plan on just at least going 1 or 2 full days, just no Kratom whatsoever. And I feel like if I can get to that point and then get my body physically used to not having Kratom at all, I feel like my tolerance will be at a point where it's cool if I just go, you know, throughout the week, don't take Kratom at all. Maybe if I want to, you know, when I'm relaxing a little bit on the weekend, if I want to have a couple of drinks of Kratom or whatever, I'll just do it that way. But at least that'll keep me off of the Kratom, you know, to for more days than I'm taking it, and then my tolerance won't go through the roof, and I'll be able to kind of take it or leave it when I want to be able to take it or leave it, which is what the point I'm trying to get to with all of this. So anyway, if you enjoy this content, just a guy sitting here talking about, you know, my past issues, my current issues with drugs, where I'm at, everything that I've been through, all of the things I've been addicted to. Oh, and did I mention I smoked cigarettes for almost 10 years? I think that's one thing I actually didn't mention. And of course, caffeine. I've always drank caffeine. So I've been addicted to just about everything, to be completely honest with you. But it feels good to be where I'm at now. A lot has changed for me. And I know I'm still taking a couple grams of Kratom every day, but, you know, my life is so much different now. I'm definitely at a place in life where I've learned that I'm not the guy that can just take stuff like that. You know, I have to set myself some ground rules. I have to set myself some limits, and I have to be able to exert some measure of discipline and control over certain substances in my life. And Kratom is definitely one of those. And you guys have been on that journey of discovery with me, so I appreciate that. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. My name's Corey, and I'm out. Peace.